Got to break in these new Mekgar magazines for the Browning high power. Only way to do that, just run them, you know? Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I got my helper back today, Colton.
Hi.
And he wanted to join this video real quick to show you guys the next big project for the channel. And that is a camper van. Now I know it's small, it's modest, but we're gonna build it out. We're actually heading over to Overland East, right? Overland Expo East. Pretty excited. You're coming, right? It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna definitely trick this thing out. It's gonna be great. No, I'm just kidding. It is cool though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, camper van will be fun for the channel someday. But for today, let's talk about this right here. Now this is an FN Browning high power. Now this particular high power is a military surplus FN Browning high power MK2 made in 1986 for the IDF. And what does that stand for, Colton? That's right, the Israeli Defense Forces. They put a very unique Cerakote job on here, as well as a unique grip pin right here that is pinned in for a lanyard loop. Now, I gotta say, the lanyard loop combined with a couple other weird things for this handgun make it kind of an odd handgun to shoot, especially in more of a modern stance and how you hold handguns now in 2022. So I had some issues with it at first, kind of learning about how I want to hold it, how you want to run it. And the first thing I did was, and I actually did a full review on it, is switch out these grips right here. These are the plastic molded grips that came with it, and it did have kind of a thumb rest on there, which I don't really like because I like to get my hands up as high as possible and point both thumbs forward. The FN Browning high power, sporting traditional plastic grips. You can see flat on this side, and then you have a little thumb rest on this side. So I opted for some lock grips right here. There's different varieties on there. I did a full review on the lock grips already, and you do have to actually grind out a spot here for that pin for the lanyard loop. It also has a magazine disconnect, which in today's standards, obviously this is not today's standards being 1986, but even so, it would have been nice to see that disconnect gone, but you can remove that just because without the mag, you ain't doing nothing. Now, on top of that, one other thing that I noticed was over here you have your slide release, slide catch. All right, so that comes into play with how I was talking about your grips and how you hold it up there. And if you hold it up too high, you're gonna interfere with this grip right here, that you're gonna interfere with the slide release and cause a malfunction. You really have to train your left thumb on this FN Browning high power, because if you put it right below or pushing up on that slide release lever there, that long lever right there, then you won't have a problem. But if you pull down or push on it, you might have a malfunction. In fact, you will. Because it engages the slide release. I don't know, something to get used to. Now I did pick up a couple of new mags for this handgun. They're all 13 rounders, which for a 1935 design handgun is just phenomenal still. Even to this day, it's not bad. So it has a 13 rounds Mekgar. This one's unmarked, which probably is the one that was issued with the handgun. Pretty neat. Definitely has shown some wear on it even before I got my hands on it and ran it at the range. This one right here is a brand new one. Take a look at that. That one does say made in Italy. Mekgar, different coating. You can kind of tell that there. This one's what? This one's a little shinier? Mm-hmm. How do they feel? You ever feel that one?
This one actually feels like metal.
Okay.
And this one kind of feels like fiberglass.
Fiberglass?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to lose it when I tell you that both are metal.
Okay.
Unlike the fiberglass ones we have here. No, so this one also has markings on the side here, holes cut out. So this is definitely more modern round count kind of magazine. Yeah, take a look. That being said though, the handgun itself has run very well, very reliable. If you don't get hung up on that slide release like we talked about, this thing runs just really well. Haven't had really any issues to it. The grip being changed out as well gives you a little bit more real estate to get on the gun itself. Let's take a look at the trigger here. Triggers are very nice, even though you have to insert a mag to even dry fire it or mess around with it in any way. So trigger, right here you can see the hammer falls back, kind of like a 1911, and the trigger does feel like a 1911. Very nice. Reset. You can just cock the hammer back. It's really not bad. It's not a very heavy trigger. Again, it's almost like a 1911, which allows you to get on target very quickly. The sights are very rudimentary. They're just pinned in there, welded on. Actually, this one here is part of the frame. This right here looks like it was drifted in. Maybe, yeah, that one definitely a fixed front sight though. Yeah, fixed front sight, but there's nothing really in there. They might have had at one point some white paint or something on the end here. It looks like there was a hole in that front sight, but it's covered in gunk or just whatever now, so maybe it fell out, whatever it was in there. The rear sight does have 2 dots as well, so there's possible that they could have even inserted like night sights or something back in the day, or some kind of fluorescent paint just to have on there. But right now these are just almost like a triple black dot in there, but it works pretty well for what it is. I mean, it's definitely a really old design. Kind of see the stainless steel in there as well, kind of stainless steel barrel set up right there. This one in particular, of course, being a mil surplus, was imported with import marks on the bottom of the trigger guard right there. And of course, it's seen some better days. What do you got? Want to try that one?
Watch this. I want to see.
Oh, you want to show something? Okay, go. Nice. But even though it's been in service quite a while, I don't know when it actually arrived in this country, it's definitely still fires, still functions. I do want to get rid of that magazine disconnect though. Do you know how to take this apart?
Yes.
Show me.
Right there.
Right there, and then this little pin right here?
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to check, make sure there's nothing in there, right?
Yes.
Good to go. Lock it back. I'm going to push this button through. We're going to hold the slide so it doesn't fly forward. Right, and we're going to pull this out, because then this whole thing slides off. You have your frame. You have a very unique setup in here. You have a spring right here with a special hole that this runs through right here, and this lines up directly with the barrel, which is right here. And that's it. So it's kind of similar, not as complex as like a 1911. So it's very similar to some of the modern firearms, in which case you have one pin or slide to pull down to actually go and disengage with a takedown to take this down. Now putting it back together though is a little unique, right? So what do you do, barrel?
Yeah.
Barrel. And now instead of just having a typical captured recoil spring, this one has the spring that needs to go in a certain way that actually connects and locks right in. And it only goes one way, right into this piece right here. So you can kind of see right where the barrel is. You can only go one way. If you go the other way, it's going to be too high. So if you go this way, you'll see it doesn't quite fit. It's a little crooked. So you have to go just one way where it lines up and locks in perfectly straight. And there's actually a bit of it sticking up right there. Now you take it, and you're going to go and lock this all the way to the rear, like that. Hold it in place, put your pin in, and you're back in business, and Colton disappeared.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
So that's it, guys. So this was my experience with the Browning High Power. This design is still being worked on today and still being produced. FN kind of just came out with a brand new version of the FN High Power. So this is a timeless design, and a lot of people really, really enjoy it. I know a lot of nations use this as their military sidearm for a long time, and I am very privileged to be able to get my hands on one of these. Now, I was debating if I want to get rid of this lanyard loop, because one thing with the lanyard loop is sometimes it could get in your way. You can kind of see how it could be detrimental for magazine reloads. You can snag your mag on that loop there, and no one really uses lanyards anymore anyways, except for arts and crafts class, right?
I have a dice.
And you have a dice, wherever that came from. So that's about it, guys, on this FN Browning High Power. Phenomenal handgun. It's worked really well for me, and just kind of a fun piece of history. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions at all about the FN, hit them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. As always, subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up. It really helps me out. Head over to Instagram. Like us there. Follow us on Facebook for all the latest and greatest deals on the internet. Anything else? And we'll see you next video.
Leave a like.
Leave a like. And we'll see you guys in the next review.